Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, it's Leave It in the Ring.
Welcome to another edition of the Women's Love Fight Show. I'm your host, Dave Joyce. Let's roll right into it. We got Izzy Vasquez versus Rafael Marquez. Then you got Marquez versus Yanni Perez. Let's go with the bout on the undercard because I really think that fight's going to really steal the show. I have a huge feeling this might be a possible fight of the year. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you got two guys, okay? You got Yanni Perez, who's got in with Silence Bambuza, who's got in with Arbeco, and he's a guy really that's still hungry, okay? Then you got Marquez, who's really from Golden Boy, and he's hungry as well, okay? But the thing that I really like about this match, if you really look at their record, there's a lot of similarities. The only thing is Yanni Perez has got some more recognizable names. But you look at the KO percentage, you know, Yanni only has one above Marquez. So what is that right now? What does that tell us? Well, we tell us right now that it's a very even match in so many ways, because the fact that, you know, Marquez has fought Yanni Perez in the amateurs, you know, and he's beat him twice out of the 3 times that they met each other. You know, beat him out of Yanni Perez out of going to the Olympics. They've lived with each other for almost a year. That's under the same roof. So these two guys, really, in all honesty, they know each other. They know each other very, very well. Okay, so you're gonna see two guys very comfortable with each other when they step in the ring. I don't think they're gonna see any surprises from each other. I think they're gonna tackle each other's weaknesses, and I think it's gonna be an all-out war. If you kind of look at the history of some fights and all that, a lot of the times when you have two friends, they go in, they're a little bit more comfortable. They're not as tense and they're not as cautious and stuff, because they kind of really know what's in store for them because of the fact that they mixed it up with each other. So they're both going to be walking in confident, thinking that they can take advantage of each other's weaknesses. Okay, so you got Marquez, who's a young lion, fast, strong, has got good punching power, does great body work, okay, and has got the speed factor really above on him right now. Now you got Yanni Perez, durable guy, can go the distance. Marquez has only been the distance one time on a 10-round fight, where Yanni Perez is one of those kind of guys that really wants to drag you into the distance, okay? He's a volume puncher. He's a guy that's going to throw a lot of shots. He's going to try to wear you down. He's going to try to land a lot of shots, you know, and you got to still say that he's a very, you know, I wouldn't say the most gifted fighter, but more experienced fighter walking into this bout. When Marquez right now is still a young guy, still a guy that really has been able to roll over his opponents. Like I said, there's not a lot of names in his roster that you can recognize, but he's a guy that's hungry. And he's dangerous. And he's a guy that beat Yanni Perez. So he's walking in as a confident guy. This is not like a Lamont Peterson going in or Timothy Bradley. Okay, this is a guy that recognizes the skills and the level that he's stepping up against a guy that right now is a legitimate champion in Yanni Perez. So I see, really honestly, Marquez being ahead on points in the first couple of rounds. I see that his speed and even his body shots are going to be a factor in this fight. But then I see really Yanni Perez turning up the heat in the later rounds, because it takes him a minute to warm up, you know, and I see him just kind of just dragging Marquez into the deep end of the water and really kind of seeing whether or not he can stay afloat. You know, to see if he has, you know, if he's got the floaties on that can keep him above the water where he doesn't drown. That's where the telling of the round is going to be. I don't see Marquez really knocking out Yanni Perez, but then again, you never know in boxing, right? That's how boxing is. But I could see, you know, Marquez really putting on some really good boxing with speed display on Yanni Perez. But then I could see him slowing down when he, you know, starts to notice that, you know what, this is no longer their amateurs. This is the pro rankings. You know, the gloves are a little bit different. The rounds are a little bit different. The momentum's a little bit different. And being that it's in the Staples, in his backyard, you know, for both of these guys, really, you know, Yanni Perez not being from, you know, LA and stuff, but he's resided there long enough, so he's going to have some family and friends along with Marquez. He's going to have some family and friends. So I see a great fight between these guys, okay? A lot of value. Two guys are going to go forward and stuff, but I think who's going to benefit in that style, in that momentum of pace of boxing, is going to be Yanni Perez. He's going to want that. He's going to want to make sure he keeps it in the pocket, because, you know, he doesn't want the younger guy using the fresher legs. He doesn't want to have the younger guy keeping the distance, okay, where he can dart in and out. He wants to have that young lion right in front of him where he makes sure that every punch that he throws is going to make a telling of the story and later on in the bout. So who do I got? As much as I like Marquez, I just don't see him right now really honestly taking Yanni Perez. I think Yanni Perez has been on a great streak. I think that, Yanni Perez really honestly, like I said, is one of those guys that just really durable and is in his prime right now. And he's a dangerous champion. So I would have to go with Yanni Perez on a split decision on this one. I think that he should be able to pull it off, but I think it's going to be one of those fights that we're going to see again and again and stuff, because you're going to have two prideful fighters that know each other, and it's just going to be one of those type of fights where you can see the trilogy out of it. Okay, now Vasquez Marquez. Well, last time they faced each other, I think it was, 2 years ago or something like that, and the trilogy was great, historical, something that you could sit around in the pub, the bar, in the barbecue and chop it up with family and friends, if they're not boxing fans. That's the type of fights, those three fights are the type of fights you put in the DVR, or the DVD player, or you put it on the internet so they could see it to make them a fight fan, okay? But number 4, what is it? Once and for all, it's labeled. Okay, well, I think it might be once and for all, because you got two warriors right now that got a lot of wear and tear. Vasquez has been known to, bruise up, nose broken right away, cut. His last fight, you saw that with Izzy Vasquez, bruised up, cut up. It didn't really look like he was completely back, but it could have been ring rust. Rafael Marquez still is in that kind of position himself right now. It hasn't been as active as going leading into this fight. So if you look at everything, you look at all the positions these two fighters are in, they're kind of similar at this moment. Just that Rafael Marquez doesn't bleed, doesn't cut up as easy, but I don't know how well and how fresh he's going to be going in and facing Vasquez, who's still strong, who's still dangerous, who still packs a big punch. But Rafael Marquez, too, he packs a big punch, comes in, he's got great boxing skills, keeps the hands up high, knows how to throw that right hand, knows how to lead with the right hand. But, Izzy Vasquez is that one type of fighter that comes forward, doesn't stop, doesn't give up. I don't see him, stopping himself like he did in the first fight on the 7th round, where his nose was busted up. He couldn't breathe anymore, so he took it upon himself to say, you know what, I'm going to stop. I can't move forward. But I can see this on the 4th fight, where the referee may jump in and stop the older warrior doing cuts, okay? I think he may be cut up a little bit early in the fight. I think we may not get what we're looking for in the 4th fight. We may get, get shortchanged in this fight, unfortunately. But we might have a good maybe 3-4 rounds of some good exchanges from two older warriors. But I think that's going to be enough said. I think that's going to be once and for all. We're going to be done and seeing both of these guys step in the ring and stuff. And I think both of the guys really honestly should just wave goodbye at the end of this fight. But then again, you never know. It could be the last. They always say there's one fight left in each warrior and all that. So this might be the 4th fight of a great fight. But that's a lot to ask for, which we already had 3 great fights from these two Mexican warriors. So I'm just going to say it's probably going to be stopped due to Izzy Vasquez getting cut. And you're going to probably see Rafael Marquez being happy and finally getting a second win over Vasquez. So it's going to be like a draw type of situation. But like I said, I'm not really looking to see an all-out war, because you got two older warriors. And that being said, even though you got two older warriors, you may have some moments where you're going to have some good fighting. But I don't think it's going to be leading on to the last 3. Okay. Anyways, I'm your host, 97 Ruff. This is another edition of the Will Be Blood Fight Show.